Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, I want to spend a little time talking about how I am going to earn my PhD in Marvel Comics. And while that may sound like a joke, it is kind of sort of a real thing. I received an email from Scott recently, and Scott is one of the subscribers to the channel. He sent me an email, and his email basically said, Reggie, I think that this may be something of interest to you. My daughter is going back to school at Drexel University. She is going to be taking a class that is called, and I want to get this right. I want to get my notes here so that I can get this right. The X-Men 1963 to today. This is a course at Drexel University. The X-Men 1963 to today. And I have in my midst the syllabus for that class, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to show it to you here in just a moment. Shout out to Eric. Eric is the professor that is leading this class, and I'm guessing the person that wrote this really a wonderful course syllabus that is complete with a course description, the learning objectives, and the methodology that will be employed, the grading scale, as well as, honestly, a robust reading schedule. I mean, there is a lengthy reading schedule in here that is basically 10 weeks of comics that these students are going to have to read to pass this course. And this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. One of the things that they actually recommend, or the thing that Eric actually recommends right here, is Marvel Unlimited. He's like, look, you're going to be reading a lot of stuff. I'm going to link to this stuff on Blackboard, but you may want to go ahead and get a subscription to Marvel Unlimited for $9.99 per month. You'll need it for about 3 months. And you'll have access to all of these great comics. I mean, this is a legit class. And I think it's pretty cool. I think it's cool for lots of different reasons. And I think it's cool because this professor and clearly Drexel University, by allowing this course to go through, is basically saying that there is some value in comics. There is some value. And I'll talk about what that value is in a moment. But I think it's really cool that this institution has identified that there is value in comics, and they're basically like, hey, these are important pieces of culture that should be examined in a college course. And so I don't know whether there's any other college courses out there of this sort. It would not surprise me if there's more of them, but when I saw this come in from Scott, I was like, I have to talk about this one because this one is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So let me see. I want to show this thing. I think I should be able to show you guys what I am looking at. And I've never done it this way before, but wish me luck. And no, I cannot do it that way. Cannot do it. Thought I could do it. Doesn't work. All right, so we may just have to continue on. So this thing basically says, this is the course description that I'm guessing Eric has written. It says this course will offer a survey of Marvel's X-Men, a line of superhero comic books starring a rotating team of quote-unquote mutants from the book's origins in the 1960s to contemporary releases. We will read major storylines written and illustrated by a wide range of authors and artists to experience firsthand the evolution of X-Men through the decades. We will supplement these primary sources with journal articles, think pieces, class discussions, analyzing the themes, cultural influences, and the changes in comics and film industry that have shaped the X-Men over the years. Special attention will be paid to the creative, editorial, and business decisions that take place behind the scenes, greatly influencing the final outcome of the book. This course will also ask students to get creative and to put themselves in the role of the editor, the author, the artist to complete assignments. That is really well written. That is really well written. He goes on here to say that the purpose of this thing is to critically examine media and our relationship with media. X-Men comics will serve as a lens through which we will discuss history, society, narrative style, storytelling, business, and more. And I think that this is a real testament. This is another reason why I think this is really great. It is a testament to what Chris Claremont and his collaborators were able to do back with the X-Men. And yeah, I mean, it all started in 1963. Chris Claremont didn't have anything to do with that. But I think that when you start to think about what this course is going to dig into, it is a lot of those elements, I think, that Chris Claremont kind of introduced, right? He took something that was out there that was not really relevant, and he made it relevant, and he tied into his stories all of these wonderful elements that were from real life, that were from what he was observing in the real world, and he pulled those elements into the comics. And so you had the X-Men where they were going out there to battle people with these superpowers, but then they were also men and women. They were boyfriends and girlfriends. They had dating troubles and men troubles and women troubles, and they went shopping at the mall, and they had all of these emotions. They had these full and complete lives. They didn't just put on spandex and fight crime. They did much more than that. And to some degree or another, in his stories, in how he developed his characters, we could see ourselves. We could see ourselves in these characters. And I think that is essentially what this instructor is picking up on. And I should also say that the syllabus is not just what Chris Claremont did. I mean, it starts at the beginning in 1963, but then it continues to present day. And so he touches on not just like Uncanny X-Men and not just the X-Men title proper, touches on several other series as well. And so as I go through this thing, by the end of the course, he says, we will complete a thorough critical reading of several prominent X-Men story arcs and issues. We will identify and analyze reoccurring themes, motifs, archetypes, framing devices that have differentiated the X titles from other superhero comics, analyzing the market, industry, and editorial influences that have shaped the X-Men and the superhero genre. He goes on here, talk about a couple of other things, consider to discuss the potential audience impact of the storylines, the characters, the editorial decisions, especially with regard to gender, race, sexuality, disability, and other identities. And he goes on to talk about a few other things here. But basically, what these students are being asked to do is to basically read, somewhere between 8 to 10, 12 or so, 10 or so different comics over the course of the 10 or so weeks of this course. And this thing actually starts out, and I wish I could show you guys on screen, so you have my apologies. I assumed that I could actually get this thing to work. But it starts out with like Uncanny X-Men, issues number 1, 3, 4, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Great stories that are happening there. I mean, there's a couple of really, really cool stories that are being told there. And then it transitions. Oh, does it transition in week 2? Week 2 is a good week because it goes to Giant Size X-Men, one of my personal favorites. You can see right there the syllabus week 1. Then week 2, we go to Giant Size X-Men. Then we get into the Chris Claremont stuff, right? So we go with a lot of the Uncanny X-Men 94, 95, 98, 99, right? We're in there. We are in the sweet spot of Chris Claremont. And then it continues, issue 29, I'm sorry, 129, 130, 131. I mean, he spends a healthy amount of time going through the Chris Claremont work there. In week 3, week 4, we kind of make a little bit of a transition there to God Loves, Man Kills, a fantastic graphic novel with one of the more compelling opening scenes of a comic that I have read. God Loves, Man Kills, fantastic read if you have not done it. Then he kind of goes into like the New Mutants 18, 19, 20, 21, then back to the X-Men for Uncanny X-Men 201. And then he starts to dabble in a few things, right? He goes to X Factor, back to Uncanny X-Men. There's a couple of, Mutant Massacre story arc in here, because I'm guessing again, that's one of those really great story arcs that is important, and the mutant genre, if you will. The Mutant Massacre is a really big one, and this thing goes through Executioner Song story arc, the Phalanx, the Age of Apocalypse. There's X-Men #1 from 1991, the Jim Lee stuff. X Factor 92, X Force 25. I mean, he dances around and then spends a lot of time in week 7 in the new X-Men. In week 8 goes to Astonishing X-Men and Giant Size Astonishing. And then it just kind of meanders through various X titles. And I again, M Day is in here, man. Wow. What else? M Day is in here, and then a couple of different primers and minor story arcs, little X-Men Golds in here. But this thing, this class, this syllabus, I think is fantastic. I would have to go back to look at this thing to see just how many of these issues I've actually read. I have a feeling that I've read quite a few of them. So again, I may already be on the road to a Ph.D. in Marvel Comics. Shout out to I wonder if I could submit my independent study to this professor and get some credits for all of the Marvel Unlimited reading that I actually do, all the videos that have been created. I may be able to get some credits here for this thing. But this is honestly, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really cool, again, that a institution of higher learning is basically acknowledging the quality of the stories that are being told, acknowledging the fact that these are works of art, right? That are both that are just in the graphic format, right? But really fantastic works of art. And again, a huge shout out to my man Scott for sending this over to me. And again, I apologize that I wasn't able to show this stuff on screen. I thought that I was going to be able to do it, so you definitely have my apology. But this is a real course. It is a real thing. If you are curious, if you really want a copy of this syllabus, if you reach out to me on Instagram at Regie Collects, I will take photos of these pages and I will send them to you. But only if you do it on Instagram, because I'm not doing this via email. But if you find me on Instagram, Regie Collects, I will absolutely hook you up. With that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it entertaining. And if you did, I want to encourage you to hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment behind. Let me know, is this a course that you would actually take if it were offered at an institution near you? Leave a comment behind so we can mix it up. And like I said, if you guys need to reach out to me, I am always around. Take care.